Need some coins for that God Squad you've always wanted? For fast and cheap coins, check out instantmudcoins.com and use code ZIRK for 20% off. Link is in the description.
The whole thing wobbin', wobbin'. When I come around, got the whole thing wobbin'.
What's going on, guys? It's Zirksee coming at you today with another YouTube video, and today I want to talk to you guys about Most Feared, how you guys can potentially prepare for Most Feared, and maybe some stuff that we'll see. Now, I do want to give a shout out to Meeps4K for being a part of the Noti Gang. If you guys want a chance to be shout out in the next video, drop a like in the video, make sure you guys are subbed to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and comment down below Noti Gang. Also, if you guys want to see that little Most Feared teaser they did put out yesterday, I'm sure some of you guys actually already saw it already, maybe it popped up for you. You can check out my morning video to go ahead and maybe try to interpret some stuff over there. I know a lot of people were talking about it in the comment section over there. Also want to let you guys know I am giving away 10 starter kits and 4 free tubs of G Fuel. All you guys have to do, go down in the comment section, comment G Fuel, leave a way to contact you. I prefer Instagram or Twitter, and also drop a like in the video. I'd greatly appreciate that. That does help me out. And with that being said, I will pick some winners for those probably tomorrow. I do have to go back still and actually pick the winners from the video on yesterday, but I'm going to pick at least one winner off of this specific video. But let's talk about Most Feared. Now, what do we know about Most Feared so far? We don't know any players confirmed. We don't really know anything like that, but we do know there is that little teaser with some symbols on it. A lot of people have been interpreting that. One person said there's like a music icon on it. Maybe it's a Tennessee Titans player. Very possible. There's a lot of players we could potentially see from Tennessee. Obviously, Derrick Henry just got Team of the Week, so I don't think we're going to see him. But when is Most Feared coming? Well, it says actually on the teaser that it's coming this weekend, which probably means Friday, right? Most promos in Madden are on Fridays. Now, one thing to note about Most Feared, guys, there are two different ways I think this could go with Most Feared. Usually, Most Feared would have been out by now for about a week. To be honest with you guys, it usually would have been out by now for about a week. I was expecting it last Friday. I think everyone was expecting it last Friday or Monday. It's going to be a shorter Most Feared than we're used to seeing, or maybe it's going to be a more extended Most Feared, I suppose, but more than likely it's going to be a shorter Most Feared. Now, one thing I do want to mention before I go any farther into how you could potentially prepare for this, just know what I'm about to tell you guys, okay, is a risk. There's absolutely no guarantees when it comes to Madden Ultimate Team with the market, anything like that. I'm just trying to give you guys the best advice, things that I am personally doing as well. But I want to mention, okay, because I don't want anyone coming back to me in 2 days if Most Feared is trash, okay? What I'm about to tell you guys right now is this is all risk. Do whatever you feel comfortable with the risking. I'm going to tell you guys some investments you could potentially make, and also want to talk about how I feel like the market could potentially crash. But I want you to know this is all a risk. If you guys go sell off some of your players and the market doesn't crash, don't come back to me and tell me how the market didn't crash, because I'm just trying to let you guys know my personal opinions, but it's all a gamble. So let's talk about that exactly, the market crash. Now, do I think the market is going to crash? As I said, complete risk. If you want to sell your team right now, I feel like a lot of people wait too long to sell their team. A lot of people wait till like Thursday, the night before, to sell their team when EA may do like a little reveal stream or something. We may see a reveal stream tomorrow night. If the promo's coming out Friday, we're gonna get something. They're gonna reveal a player or two, or they're gonna do an entire stream maybe, or reveal a bunch of different players coming with Most Feared, right? They're gonna do that, and when that happens, that's gonna cause the panic. That's gonna cause people to sell their players off, basically. If you're gonna sell your team, you wanna do it as soon as you possibly can. But again, complete risk if you sell your team, okay? Complete risk. But here is why I personally feel like the market is going to take a hit. I actually do think the market is going to take a crash, and the number one thing I will say, any content that EA has really released this year has been good. And if you don't know what I mean by that, I basically mean if you take a look at every single content drop, every single promo that EA's released, Team of the Week, everything really, even like heavyweights, those cards are good. There hasn't ever really been a bad content drop. Like, it seems like every new high overall player they drop is good, or one of the best players at their potential position. I think everyone can basically agree with that. I feel like this year specifically, I've noticed it a lot more. Like, there's been times like the past couple of years where they'll drop a Team Week hero, and that card will just be bad, right? And we've gotten some maybe not too great Team Week heroes, but even like a week where we got, say, Lance Briggs, right, as one of the flashback players, they made up for it without Randall Cunningham and the Chase Claypool. I always feel like whatever cards they're putting out are always some of the best players at their position, which Lance Briggs, I mean, that's kind of like one exception. That card's terrible. That card is absolutely terrible. But like LTD Stephon Diggs, they dropped this card yesterday, and this card is exceptionally good, right? I feel as though because Most Feared is potentially going to be a shorter promo, they tend to like release players in batches with Most Feared. I think they're going to have to release more players at one time because the promo is going to be shorter. Or at least release players, maybe not all at one time, but every couple of days or something. We don't really know how they're going to be doing Most Feared just yet. Maybe they'll release 2 Master cards, maybe they'll release like 1 Master card and like 6 set players, and then over the course of like the next week, whatever, leading up to Halloween, they release limited time cards, they release another Master player, maybe some more higher overall players. And I think that every single player they're going to be releasing with Most Feared, at least you have to think the scary fast players, right? They're gonna be really, really good. I think we are going to see the market take a hit. How much? I don't know. What specific positions? I don't exactly know. Now, not just that, guys, but not only do we have Most Feared coming up, but keep in mind, we still have the 50 coming out, and there's a lot of players we could potentially see with Most Feared, and also the 50, Randy Moss. There's a lot of fast defensive backs that we could potentially see. You might see the cornerback and wide receiver market. I feel like those are 2 markets we may see take a hit, especially when it comes to, like, speedy players, because I feel like we're about to get like a Megatron or like a Randy Moss type wide receiver. I feel like we've waited long enough, and now's when they're going to hit us with something like that. And also defensively, I think we may see a Charles Woodson or a Darrelle Revis or Troy Polamalu, someone of that like stature basically. And as I said, I feel like Most Feared is probably going to be a little bit shorter promo than usual, so we're probably going to see a lot more players in a shorter time period, and we're going to see some really good LTDs, we're going to see some really good players. I do think the market is going to take a hit. As I said, complete risk if you guys want to sell with your team to do so. I don't know if it's worthy of selling your team. I don't know if the market is going to crash that hard, but maybe you want to take a look into selling some players. So that's kind of my thinking when it comes to the market crash situation. Do I think there is going to be one? I really do. I really do think there is going to be a market crash. But now let's talk about potential investments. And again, same thing as before when it comes to selling your team. Investments are investments. They're a risk. There is no guaranteed investments ever. There is always going to be a risk when you guys decide to invest your coins into specific players or whatever. But I have decided when it comes to investments, what players do I actually want to invest in, and I've really thought about it, and here are some potential players I'm going to go over that I think could potentially get cards. Again, guys, complete risk if you want to invest. Complete risk on you, okay? But players that I think we could potentially see in the Most Feared promo, of course, include Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is usually one of those players that does end up being like in the Most Feared promo. Now, his power-ups currently are decently expensive, right? He's about 20,000 coins. And I think that Donald could potentially be an LTD in the promo. But some things to note here are, even if we get LTDs this year specifically, if it is a good limited time card, and specifically more when it comes to speedy players, really, power-ups still shoot up in price on players. And I feel like someone like Aaron Donald is potentially one of those players that could go from 19,000 coins to maybe 30, 40K potentially if he does get a really, really good card. Now, the only issue though is we actually already have a lot of good right ends in the game, right? We do already have Deacon Jones at right end, which is obviously going to hurt Aaron Donald's price if he does get a card, because we already have a 93 overall right end, and it's literally a Ram, of course, of Deacon Jones, who may have pretty comparable stats to Aaron Donald, so maybe his price won't shoot up that much. Another player I think we could potentially see in this promo is Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is kind of one of those players that usually does get a Most Feared upgrade. Now, the only issue with Mack is Mack and Von Miller are 2 players that are kind of linked. Like, you guys have noticed that throughout the years. Mack and Von Miller always get upgrades together, like, very, very relatively soon to each other, which is kind of weird. And Von Miller's hurt. So, will Von Miller actually get a Most Feared card over Mack? Now, that is something that I don't really know. Now, one thing I want to mention, because I'm about to go over a very, very specific position. As I just mentioned, you know, Khalil Mack, Von Miller, Aaron Donald. You guys can invest in those players if you want to, but the number one thing that I always invest in throughout the years is speed. Because speed is so important. Speed kills, right? Everybody likes speedy players, and with Scary Fast potentially coming out with Most Feared, Scary Fast is a part of Most Feared, we tend to get some pretty good players. Now, one thing I will say, guys, when it comes to selling power-ups as well, or buying and selling power-ups, I personally sell off of hype. There is a chance that players you guys invest in, say Khalil Mack or Von Miller or whatever, if EA comes out and they do a full reveal stream on Thursday night, right? We have seen this happen this year with a lot of different promos. There is a chance that they make sets that give you power-ups when you complete them, okay? So if you invest into Khalil Mack and you get him for 15,000 coins, let's say EA does the reveal stream and you see in the set that it says gives a power-up Khalil Mack, all right? Even though it says gives a power-up Khalil Mack, I would almost guarantee you're going to go to the auction block and you're going to see this Khalil Mack flying off the auction house. Now, the next day, he's going to be down in price, right? Because the set is going to give you a power-up and he's going to shoot down in price. But people will still go ahead and buy Khalil Mack power-ups. It's just how it works. People still buy the power-ups. And I will let you guys know right now, I always sell off hype. I sell off hype. I don't care if, let's say Khalil Mack shoots up to 30,000 coins, right? On Thursday night, if they do a reveal stream and he shoots up to 30,000 coins, I'm selling. I'm selling right there. Now, if tomorrow, you know, the sets come out, whatever, they're really expensive sets to do whatever, and Khalil Mack's power-up is actually going up in price for some reason, or maybe the sets don't give a power-up, and he shoots up to 45, 50,000 coins, I'm not mad. You know why I'm not mad? Because I just doubled my coins. You can't be mad taking a profit. I always say take the profit when you can. I can never really predict when is the absolute best time to sell your power-ups. Sell when you feel comfortable with the profits. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Some of these players may end up getting master sets and they may give power-ups. So that's another risk you have when it comes to investing into power-ups. But one specific position that I am personally investing into really is defensive backs, okay? And more specifically, corners, because I feel like we are bound to get at least one really, really fast cornerback. You guys can see, even if, let's say, they make a super fast cornerback and it's an LTD, well, Denzel Ward was a super fast cornerback LTD, and take a look at his price. The number one thing that I've noticed is, regardless of how expensive that player is, if he gets an LTD and he's super expensive, whatever, his power-up tends to shoot up in price. So let me show you guys something. So this is what I want to show you guys, and this is, I actually sorted by power-ups, speed, and went specifically by cornerback. Okay, now, why did I do this? Well, here's the thing. As I said, when it comes to EA and them giving upgrades this year, it really seems like just about any upgrade they give is a good usable card. So any sort of fast player they give an upgrade to should have really, really good speed and make that player's power up go in price, regardless of if they actually get a most feared card or not. I have personally invested into 4 different cornerbacks that I'm comfortable investing in for the short term or the long term, meaning even if these players don't get most feared cards, guys, if they end up getting even a higher overall card or an LTD card, I still feel like it's a pretty safe investment for myself. You know, it's a risk for you guys, whatever, but I feel like it is a pretty decent investment idea in the fact that whenever they give a speedy player an upgrade, the power up tends to go for a lot, right? So you guys can see at a 69 overall, right? Denzel Ward was 82 speed. Dante Jackson is a 68 overall, and he's got 83 speed. He's going for 2.4 thousand coins, which means that if Dante Jackson does potentially get a most feared upgrade, let's say he gets the same overall as Denzel Ward, let's say he gets a 91 overall card or a 92 overall card, he is going to be one of the fastest players in the game. Or let's say he doesn't get a most feared. Let's say they wait and they give him a card later down the road. His power up's still going to go up in price, in my opinion, if the card is good enough at that point in time. So to me, 2,000 coins to invest in Dante Jackson, this is a great investment because it could have the same effect as a Denzel Ward power up shooting up to 22K. This Dante Jackson power could be really, really expensive, and I'll let you guys know I invested quite a bit into Dante Jackson. Now that's not it though. If you guys come down here, another player I actually invested in was Darius Slade. Now maybe he won't be the fastest cornerback because, you know, at a 71, he's only 80 speed, but again, kind of a bigger name player. People like him. He's only 2,000 coins, and Jair Alexander as well, 2.5 thousand coins for him. And the final corner I actually invested in is Marshawn Lattimore. Now, that was the final player on this list anyways that I invested in. There is one more player that I have personally invested in, and it's more of a hype thing when it comes to corner quarterbacks, but I'll go over that. Marshawn Lattimore, Jair Alexander, Darius Slade, and Dante Jackson are 4 corners that I have personally invested in that I think could potentially get most feared upgrades, and even if they don't, if they do get an upgrade in the future, I feel confident with the little amount of coins that I spent on the power up that as long as it's a, same overall, let's say they get an LTD, right? It's the same overall as the highest overall players in the game. They're going to be some of the fastest corners. The power up's going to go up in price. And the final player that I've invested in, guys, you guys can see is Patrick Peterson. Now, he's actually pretty cheap still. You guys can see he's going for 4,600 coins. Now, Pat Pete may not be the fastest cornerback in the game when he gets an upgrade. You guys can see if we scroll on over to where he actually has his cards at, you can see here he has 85 speed at an 83 overall card, right? So depending on exactly when he gives him an upgrade, let's say he does get a most feared, this is really my hope here, is most feared Pat Pete. Now, I don't know if he's going to get the upgrade. There's a lot of cornerbacks they can potentially go with, but whenever Pat Pete gets an upgrade, he is kind of one of those more sought-after players, and as a bigger name player that's kind of cheaper right now, 4,600 coins, whatever, whenever he does get an upgrade, if they do make him one of the faster cornerbacks in the game, Pat Pete has the potential to be very, very expensive. You guys can see I have 17 of his power up. So really, that's what I'm personally doing in my investments. Would you sell your team, or could you sell your team? You guys definitely could sell your team. It's a risk completely, but I think the market is probably going to take a little bit of a hit. I don't know exactly how much it's going to drop though. And then really, I'm investing in speedy corners. I'm really investing in speedy corners because I feel like this is a hit. Also, another player you can do is obviously Tyreek Hill, but his power up is like 45K. Given Brandon Cooks, Denzel Ward, they shot up to like 100,000 coins when they got an upgrade. So maybe Tyreek Hill's power up could do the same. And if you want to invest in other speedy wide receivers, you could definitely do that. But I personally have invested in speedy corners because I feel like even if they don't get a most feared card, I can still just hold on to the card and wait for them to get another upgrade. And as long as EA gives them a good card, then the card's going to go up in price. The power up's going to go up in price. So with that being said, guys, I hope you did enjoy the video. And if you did, make sure to drop a like on the video. And of course, hit that sub button down below. Let me know down below what kind of investments you guys are personally making. Hope you did enjoy the video. See you guys next time.